there is a fair amount of confusion between traffic services that Garmin offers. And the main reason for this is that it has been an evolutionary process between one service and the next. So I'm going to cover what Garmin offers and how it compares to the phone with Waze or Google Maps. So let's go. This page right here is garmin.com/traffic. It shows a different address up in the bar, but when you type that into the browser, you're going to get support.garmin.com/ this weird thing, but it is garmin.com/traffic. And right here it says traffic service differences for North American automotive devices. We're going to stop right there because North America, as far as Garmin is concerned, is United States, Canada, and Mexico. Well, in Canada in particular, United States, we'll get to that in a second, but Canada in particular, particularly when it comes to HD traffic, and we'll cover that in a moment, coverage is not that great. RDS I think is fine, but for HD, mileage may vary, as they say. To continue on, we have three types here. We have Garmin traffic, HD digital traffic, and live traffic. To put this in very simple terms, Garmin traffic, RDS. Then you have the HD stuff, RDS with advancements, more or less. Then you have live traffic, phone. Those are the differences between the three. Now if you have a GTM 36, which is that power adapter with this little brick thing in the middle, looks like a stick of gum, this is the old style RDS only, which is for devices like, I think it might go all the way back to the Street Pilot days, but anyway, in the earlier Nuvies, this is just RDS. There was also the GTM 25, GTM, I think there was a GTM 26, but if you're going to get a replacement for your RDS traffic compatible Garmin device, it would be a GTM 36. This is the quote-unquote slower of the two, and I put that in big quotation fingers, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Then you have this one, which is the HD digital traffic receiver, the GTM 60. This also has that thing, that stick of gum looking thing on the cord. That stick of gum, by the way, I didn't even explain what that is. That's the traffic antenna. This part right here, that's the charge part. That's the thing that sends the power to the unit. This guy is the actual traffic antenna itself. So that's how that works. Now, as far as I am aware, you can use newer Garmin Drive Smarts with the 60, but not with the 36. I don't know why, although I might be wrong. I don't think I am, though. So if you're going to get, it's like, well, which one should I get if I have a newer Garmin and I don't want to use the app, but I do want to receive traffic alerts? You would get the 60. How well it works or not, I have absolutely no idea. I do know the 36 works a treat. I have used that. It's pretty good. But it depends on where you are, and we'll get to that in a moment. So, okay. Now you have Traffic HD and Live. Traffic receiver antenna accessories for differences, click here. Now, if I look at this page for just the RDS, the Garmin traffic, if it ever decides to load on me. Okay. Yeah, it really doesn't tell me anything. It just says certain models may not be compatible with traffic. If you are uncertain, contact products. No. So that's a worthless page. Anyway, chances are you know whether your unit is an RDS only or HD digital or live. The live one, that's pretty easy. That's only for models that can communicate with the Garmin app, which I think is 2018, 2019 models and newer. This is where things get weird because, like, for example, I've made mention of my Nuvi 2555 LMT, and this would also include the 2595 LMT. That was something released in late 2011, which at the time I record this is almost 10 years ago, and it will actually work with the GTM 60, which is crazy, but it will also work with the GTM 36. I have a GTM 36, and yes, it does work. So, now here's where things get interesting. Is your coverage. Regular RDS, Garmin claims, is given a refresh rate of 5-minute intervals. It's actually a little better than that. RDS is way better than it used to be. How it used to be is that you would get a report once every 30 minutes. That's how it was way back in the day. It's every 5 minutes now. Now with the HD, it's every 1 to 3 minutes. Now, is there really a difference between 5 minutes and 1 to 3 minutes? Not really. So if you have to use the 36 for whatever reason instead of the 60, you're really not missing much, except what it tells you. Now, in the regular RDS, you only get this. You'll get messages like slow traffic ahead, accident ahead, construction ahead, and for interstates and major highways. With the HD, you will get show traffic ahead, construction, stall, and more information. Stalled car in left lane, etc., so on and so forth. And of course, now this one is the smartphone app, which gives you, yeah, you get everything, which is the interstates, the highways, all the information. Also, you get some secondary streets. So this one will give you the most information, but is it worth even using when you could use Google Maps or Waze? Well, I'll get to that in a moment. Now, here is the thing which is both interesting and funny at the same time. This is the coverage for RDS, the old system. The green areas here. Now, if I zoom in, I'll do the Fort Worth, Dallas Fort Worth area. Okay, we'll just zoom in right on that. Now, the color instances, the darker green is portable navigation, which is Drive Smarts and Nuvies. There are also some cars that have in-dash navigation. Now, you may see that it's a little bit wider when it comes to in-dash, and I think the reason for that is just for they have slightly better antennas in them, or maybe not, I don't know. Let's compare that to the HD, and I'm going to zoom in on the same area. I'll do Dallas Fort Worth, and by the way, what you're about to see is representative of pretty much all areas that it covers. Okay, so we're zoomed in nice and tight. Let's compare. I'll get the proper zoom in on that. Okay, is that the proper zoom? Okay, we'll actually go one back. You can probably already tell what I'm getting at here. Okay, so 50 mile, 50 mile. You will notice this is the newer system. This is the older system. The older RDS system actually has better coverage compared to the new one, which is, like I said, interesting and funny. So you've got the old RDS system, which, while true, does not give you as much information as I showed here, does have a wider coverage range compared to the HD. So while true, HD will give you reports slightly faster, and with slightly more information, you run out of coverage right quick. Now, if I zoom back the map on RDS, and I'll try to get this as best as I can here so I can really show you the difference for a nationwide. Okay, so we're at, oh god, I went back too far. Okay, 500 mile. There we go. Let's see if we can get this, do this like that. And get this one, if I can, okay, it's gonna let me move. Okay, there we go. like that. Oh, let me get it. I'm doing this for a reason, just so I can show this to you. All right, we'll get the map right up there, and do the map. Come on, move. There we go, right up there. Okay, so this is old, this is new, or current, I should say. So RDS, HD, RDS, HD. Notice the coverage little bubbles here get significantly smaller when I go to HD, and it's everywhere. It's not just in specific parts. It's everywhere. So look at Florida in particular down here. So there's the old one, fairly good chunk of the state. Here's a new one, or HD. So if you're directly in the thick, oh, you can really see it here in the Nashville and Atlanta areas. So there's the RDS, and watch what happens when I go HD. Yeah. So it makes you question, okay, well, if I get better, do I want RDS, regular RDS, with more coverage but less information? Or do I want the GTM 60 with more information and less coverage? Yeah. Yeah, and look what happens with California too. Look what happens over here. Here's the RDS. Yeah, wow. That's what happens with HD. And this is from here, as you can see, the company here. They're the ones that provide the information. So I was like, whoa, okay. Oh, and another one to take into consideration. Look at what happens with Canada. Like Edmonton. Okay, this is a great example. Edmonton has no HD traffic at all. Zero. It's not even there. You get RDS, but you don't even get HD. Calgary has it, and Vancouver has it. And oh, another one, Ottawa and Quebec City. You go to HD, nothing. You get Toronto. That's it. Winnipeg's not even included, which to me is crazy. It's like Winnipeg, I mean, yeah, they got some people living there. You'd think traffic would be important. Okay, so now let's compare this to like Waze and Google Maps. Now, if you want to see what's going on with Waze, that's waze.com/livemap, LIVEMAP. It changes the address, but you can go to waze.com/LIVE- or -MAP. Google Maps, when you're logged in, what you can do is click the little hamburger here, and you'll see, normally Google Maps looks like this. But you can click on the desktop, you can click the hamburger and just click traffic. And you'll get live traffic as it's happening right now. So that's cool. And you notice that the information is roughly the same. So what is the difference between HD traffic, RDS, and what Waze and Google Maps offers? Well, Waze in particular, the biggest difference is that it's crowdsourced data. Actually, I don't know if Waze uses a combination of official channels and crowdsourced data. I think it's all crowdsourced. Pretty sure about that. But Waze is only as good as people who report incidents. It's only that good. And with Google Maps, more or less that's the same. The Google Maps is a little different because I think in the way that they do it, everyone who has an Android phone and data turned on, they can gather anonymous data on how many handsets are in a particular area at a particular time, which is why you'll see the orange lines for heavier traffic and red lines for really heavy traffic, and so on and so forth. And they can do this just by monitoring how many people are on their network, how many people are logged into their Google accounts. So Waze is a Google product. This is true, but I don't know if they incorporate where the handset, as in the smartphones, where Android phones are at any given point in time. I don't know if Waze does that. It might be that it only counts people who are actively running the Waze application, whereas Google whether you're running any type of maps product or not, it will still transmit the information to Google servers anonymously. So I think that's the way it works. Given this is true, it is normally, yeah, given that's true, Google Maps should, operative would should, provide the absolute best traffic information possible. But as far as the best useful traffic information, you'd probably get that from Waze. If you, however, are within one of these metros, this is garmin.com/traffic, and you can just go to coverage. The way I got those maps, by the way, garmin.com/traffic, and you just see traffic coverage, and it will bring up these pages. That's how you get to these pages. So if you are in one of these metros for RDS, any one of these, then you will get information fairly close to what will show in Waze or Google Maps. I don't think, actually, wait, no, that's not true. RDS is in fact good enough, and I saw this happen firsthand when I was driving through Dallas, Texas, is if there is a traffic slowdown, it will, even on plain old RDS, it will still tell you. It's like, oh, by the way, there's a bunch of cars backed up. Oh, okay, good. So now that was just Dallas, of course. I don't know if that happens in other metros that are covered, but the point is, yes, RDS did in fact tell me this on a new V255 LMT made in 2012. So even something that old will still work, and it works actually quite well. But again, it's if you're in one of the coverage areas. Now, if you happen to be in any area which is outside, especially for HD, any area that's outside of where the coverage areas are, and you want traffic info, then you should run Waze or Google Maps, because that's pretty much the only way you're going to get that traffic information that you want, provided that you are actually in an area that has data coverage. So who knows, like if I zoom back Google Maps here, and let's just say you're for some reason really in the middle of North Dakota here. I mean, how much information are we? Then they show 94 because that's a major interstate. I'm just randomly, let's go to Bismarck. Okay, so, but yeah, you'll notice, okay, it shows active traffic information here. See the orange lines. But if I go somewhere else, which is Almont, excuse me, let's see, anything here? Yeah, see, nothing. Even with Google Maps, nothing. There's no indication of what's going on for traffic there. We'll go to Strasbourg. They, see this? They actually do show the traffic information here. But when you get inside to the residential, no. So, and if you really go into the boonies, especially into the mountainous regions, yeah, you're really not going to get the coverage with anything. So you got to be realistic about it, is what I'm saying. But if you do happen to be in one of the metros, RDS is still real good. It really is still real good. Still real good. It really is still real good, if I could talk. So when we zoom in, let's go to Florida actually. So if I go into Tampa Bay, for example, yeah, look at that. Coverage is great for RDS. Even for HD, pretty good. Let me see if I can get that map moving. There we go. Oh, there we go. But you'll notice, okay, the pretty good chunk from about Lutz down to Northport, we're doing pretty good. Especially because you've got TPA right here, Tampa Airport, and all that. You've got pretty much all of Pinellas and Hillsborough County. Yeah, you're doing pretty good here. When you get up into Tarpon Springs and Newport Richey, and not so much. If we use RDS, yeah, you do get, actually, Tarpon Springs is included if you actually have regular RDS. It's just interesting when you look at this, like what kind of coverage do you get? What kind of coverage can I expect? It also should be said that whether you're running this or this, and this is the final thing I'll say here, this little traffic receiver thing, okay, and I have found this out firsthand. There is a reason it is near the mini plug end and not near the part that goes into your 12-volt port. It's because the antenna should be close to the GPS. The best way to use one of these so you get maximum coverage, correction, so you get maximum reception, is that you should put this little brick behind the GPS, plug it in, and then loop the cable behind the Nuvi or the Drive Smart. That is your best way to get the best possible reception. If this thing is hanging down in front of a vent or in front of the radio or near the floor of the car or whatever, it's almost worthless at that point. You have to get the thing elevated, and the best way to get it elevated is to loop it around behind the GPS, and then it will work as intended. I noticed an immediate difference when I did that personally, because I said, well, could there be any real difference between looping it behind it or just letting it hang down? In fact, there is. In fact, there is. Now, supposedly, with this one, with the 60, they say, well, you don't have to do that. I think you do. I think you do. You might as well give yourself every advantage that you can possibly get with one of these. So yeah, I would loop it around behind the GPS. Now, if you use your Nuvi or Drive Smart on the glass, yeah, that might be a bit of a pain. And this cable, whether it's on the 36 or the 60, you'll notice, well, actually you can't really see it, but it's not exactly a slim cable. This is it's flat, but it's kind of wide. And if you have one, you know what I'm talking about. And these are not cheap to replace either. I think the 36, I mean, they're not $70 like they're showing here, but on eBay you can, I think the cheapest ones are like 35 bucks just for this cable with the traffic brick in it. So if you have one, what I would suggest, actually this will be the final thing I'll say, if you've had yours for a long time, what I would suggest, if you've never replaced the fuse in yours, replace the fuse. It will help it last longer, especially if it's, and then clean the contacts if you can. Just get a little cotton swab and some isopropyl alcohol and just make sure the contacts are good, and it should be fine. I think the main reason people stop using these is just because of a blown fuse, because it does require more power draw. Oh, actually, yeah, and that, okay, I promise this will be the last thing I say. Don't use one of these in a multi-port. What I mean by that is that you can go on eBay or Amazon and buy one of those port splitters where if you have one port and you plug it in and then you have multiple 12-volt ports. Don't do that. That's a guaranteed way to break one of these things. It has to have direct access to the port. That's the way it's designed to run, because it does have a stronger power draw compared to just the charger. If it's just the charger, yeah, you can get away with one of those multi-port things, but what you're using the actual traffic receiver, it's got to go directly into the port. It's the only way to run it right, or else you're going to have problems. It won't work. The one time I tried doing that, I'll tell you exactly what happened. When I tried it, the GPS, it wouldn't even power on. It just was trying to draw too much, and so not only would mess with the fuse in this, but also mess with the fuse within the multi-port. Thankfully, it's a multi-port that actually had a fuse in it. So, well, there you go, people. I hope that gives you some information. So remember, garmin.com/traffic if you want to see this page and the coverage maps. Waze.com/live map if you want to see this, and Google maps.google.com, and remember to hit the hamburger and enable traffic to see that.